Nam mô Bổn Sư Thích Ca Mâu Ni Phật. Respectful greetings to the Venerable Sangha and one blessing to all viewers who are joining us today. Welcome to Kamau Buddhist News, produced by the Communication Department of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha in Kamau Province. In mid-December 2025, temples and Buddhist communities across Kamau Province have continued to organize retreats, Dharma teachings, commemorative ceremonies, and charitable activities, contributing to cultivation of inner peace and the spread of compassion in society. Let's now begin today's program. A day of peace retreat at Ngọc Giác Monastery. Dharma teachings on Pure Land practice at Phước Huệ Monastery. A Vipassana session on the principle of movement and stillness. The conclusion of the youth retreat, Seeds of Compassion. A Dharma talk on turning toward goodness at Giác Phi Monastery. A Dharma teaching on peace at Vĩnh Thái An Monastery. A compiled retreat and Buddhist study class at Bửu Thanh Monastery. The commemoration of Nirvana of King Mân Trần Nhân Tông. A day of peace retreat and basic Buddhist study class at Long Phước Monastery. A charitable gift distribution for disadvantaged people. On the morning of December 14, Ngọc Giác Monastery organized the 361st A Day of Peace retreat, welcoming a large number of lay Buddhists returning for practice. Venerable Minh Giác delivered a Dharma talk on the three karmas, encouraging mindfulness in body, speech, and mind, upholding the precepts, and living with compassion in daily life. On the same day, the monastery distributed 620 vegetarian meals and bottled water to patients and caregivers at Bạc Liêu General Hospital.
On the morning of December 14, 2025, at Ngọc Giác Monastery, Hiệp Thành War, Venerable Minh Giác, a part of the monastery, solemnly organized the 361st A Day of Peace retreat, welcoming a large number of lay Buddhists who returned to engage in Dharma practice. During the retreat, the Abbot delivered a Dharma talk on the theme The Three Karmas, clearly explaining the significance of bodily, verbal, and mental actions in the process of cultivating an inner transformations. He encouraged devotees to maintain mindfulness in every thought, word, and deed, to uphold the precept as a protective boundary for body and mind, and to take compassion as the guiding principle in daily conduct. On the same day, Ngọc Giác Monastery distributed 620 vegetarian meals portions and bottled water to patients and their relatives at Bạc Liêu General Hospital. This regular charitable activity contributes to sharing and encouragement with those facing hardship and helps spread the spirit of compassion in the community.
On December 14, Phước Huệ Monastery organized the 36th A Day of Peace retreat in a serene and harmonious atmosphere. Venerable Thiện Hiếu delivered a Dharma talk titled Pure Lands and Necessary Provisions, clarifying that the Pure Lands is the pure nature of one's own mind and encouraging diligent Buddha name recitation and firm faith in the Buddha's vows.
On the morning of December 14, 2025, at Giác Hoa Monastery, Châu Thới Kham Miêu, Cà Mau Province, Most Venerable Bhikkhuni Nghiêm Thành, the abbess organized the closing ceremony of the 28 Youth Retreat theme, Seeds of Compassion, creating wholesome conditions for many young participants to return for practice and nurture virtuous seeds within themselves. In the solar atmosphere, the assembly chanted the Medicine Buddha Sutra, sincerely praying for the national peace, world harmony, and the well-being for all beings. Following the study sessions, cultural performances, group activities, and joyful games brought moments of relaxation and bonding, fostering unity, love, and sharing among the participants. The retreat concluded in joy, marking the meaningful year of the cultivation for the seed of compassion, nurtured under the roots of Giác Monastery. On this occasion, the organizing committee presented the encouragement given to the participants, motivating them to maintain a wholesome lifestyle, cultivate loving kindness, and continue their journey of compassion and disciples of the Buddha.
During Vipassana retreats at Long Phước Monastery, Venerable Đồng delivered a Dhamma teachings on the principle of movement and stillness. He emphasized balancing wholesome stillness and wholesome movement to maintain mindfulness, avoid stagnation, and sustain long-term diligence in practice. Practitioners were guided in sitting and walking meditation throughout the retreat.
On the morning of December 14, 2025, during a Vipassana meditation retreat at Long Phước Monastery, Vĩnh Trạch War, Venerable Đồng Dharma instructor of the Provincial Buddhist Intermediate School, delivered a teaching on the theme, The Principle of Movement and Stillness, offering many practical insights for practitioners. In the Dharma session, the Venerable analyzed the roles of movement and stillness in meditation practice, helping participants correctly recognize the function of each state. Accordingly, the assembly was guided on how to maintain balance between body and mind in daily activities while sustaining inner stability throughout the cultivation process. He emphasized using wholesome stillness to regulate unwholesome movement, allowing the mind to settle peacefully, and applying wholesome movement to transform unwholesome stillness, thereby avoiding stagnation and passivity. Harmony between movement and stillness would highlight us as an essential foundation for maintaining mindfulness and long-term diligence. As part of the retreat program, Venerable Phổ Tâm guided the practitioners in sitting and walking meditation, helping them cultivate mindfulness and directly experience the harmonious rhythm of the body and mind through each step and breath, thereby strengthening a solid and practical foundation of practice.
On December 14, Giác Monastery solemnly concluded the 28 Young Retreat Team Siege of Compassion. The program included chanting, study sessions, cultural activities, and group programs nurturing unity, loving kindness, and moral values among young participants. Encouragement gifts were presented to motivate continued wholesome living.
On the morning of December 14, 2025, at Phước Huệ Monastery, Phước Long Commune, Most Venerable Thích Phước Châu, the abbot organized the 36th day of Buddhist retreat, creating wholesome conditions for the numerous lay Buddhists to return for practicing the serene and harmonious atmosphere. The retreat began with the mantra recitation and the chanting the sacred name of Amitabha Buddha. This was followed by the Dhamma talk titled Pure Land and the necessary revisions delivered by the Venerable Thích Hiếu, resident monk of Long Phước Monastery, Vĩnh Trạch Word. In his teaching, the Venerable clarified the meaning of Pure Land, emphasizing that the Western Pure Land is not separate from the reality, but is the pure nature of one's own mind. He encouraged devotees to diligently recite the Buddha's name, establish firm and authentic faith in the Buddha's vows, attain peace in the present moment, and apprise toward a wholesome future. The retreat concluded in the solemn atmosphere. The compassionate and wisdom-filled teachings remind the assembly to maintain the mindfulness, live with awareness, and nature inner peace in every action and words along the path of practice.
On December 18, Giác Viên Monastery hosted a day of peace retreat featuring a Dhamma talk titled Turning Toward Goodness. The Most Venerable emphasized cultivating wholesome actions in body, speech, and mind, nurturing virtuous intention, and taking mindfulness an essential revision on the path of practice.
On the morning of December 18, 2025, numerous lay Buddhists returned to Giác Viên Monastery, Lang Trọng War, to attend a day of peace retreat and listen to a Dharma talk delivered by Most Venerable Thích, member of the Central Committee for Dharma Propagation and the Executive Board of Vietnam Buddhist Sangha of Đồng Nai Province, and a board of Tam Phước Monastery, Đồng Nai. The retreat was organized by Most Venerable Nun Thích Nữ Trúc Như, abbess of Giác Viên Monastery. In his teaching, the Most Venerable explained that turning toward goodness means cultivating wholesome actions and refraining from unwholesome ones in body, speech, and mind with a virtuous mindset as the foundation. He emphasized that when mindfulness is neglected, the three karma can easily give rise to greed, anger, and delusion, causing suffering to oneself and others. He further stressed the importance of self-cultivation, nurturing wholesome intentions in every thought, word, and deed, caring for the garden of the mind through virtuous practices, and taking mindfulness as essential provisions on the path of practice.
At Vĩnh Thái An Monastery, a Dharma talk on peace was delivered during a day of peace retreat. The teaching highlighted compassion and wisdom as the foundation of peace, encouraging practitioners to transform unwholesome karma and recognize that peace ultimately resides in the mind.
On the afternoon of December 18, 2025, in the tranquil atmosphere at Vĩnh Thái An Monastery, Vĩnh Hậu Commune, Most Venerable Nun An Yuen, resident nun of the monastery, solemnly organized a day of peace retreat, gathering many local lay Buddhists to return for practice. After daily chanting session, the established respectfully listened to Dharma talk on the theme Peace, delivered by Most Venerable Chánh Định, member of Central Committee for Dharma Propagation of the Vietnam Buddhist Sangha and abbess of Tam Phước Monastery. In his teaching, the Most Venerable emphasized that peace arises only when practitioners cultivate wholesome karma and refrain from the creating unwholesome causes that bring suffering to others. He clarified the spirit of compassion and wisdom. Compassion means bringing joy and alleviating suffering without causing affliction to others. Wisdom is the ability to reduce and turn from affliction within oneself. Concluding the retreat, he encouraged devotees to diligently practice even amidst adverse conditions. As phenomena arise from causes and conditions, each person should live with the ease, maintain wholesome conditions, transform unwholesome ones, and recognize that peace is residing in the mind through mindful contemplation, understanding, loving, and sharing. Sensibility and instability in life ultimately originates from one's soul karma.
On December 20th, Bhutan Monastery organized a retreat combined with a Buddhist study class. The Dharma talk, chanting sutras, reciting mantras, and mindfulness of the Buddha, emphasize integrating faith and practice with sincerity and purity in daily life. The program concluded with a year-end review and examination.
On the morning of December 20th, 2025, Venerable Pháp Chánh, abbot of Bhutan Monastery, Vĩnh Thanh Commune, solemnly organized a day of peace retreat in conjunction with a Buddhist study class, attracting a large number of lay Buddhists who returned to practice and attended a Dharma talk titled Chanting Sutra, Reciting Mantra, and Mindfulness of the Buddha. In his teaching, the Bhatt emphasized that a devoted Buddhist should not limit practice to worship and offering alone, but should also engage in chanting sutra, reciting mantra, and practicing mindfulness of the Buddha to harmonize principle and practice. Chanting sutra helps internalize the Buddha teachings and awaken wisdom. Reciting mantra helps eliminate karmic obstacles and increase merits and wisdom. Mindfulness of the Buddha gather the mind, transform deluded thoughts, and restore inner clarity. These three practices form essential foundation of cultivation. Whether practicing one or all three, the essence lies in sincere and pure intention applied in daily life. Reciting the mouth, cultivating goodness in the mind, and manifesting compassion through speech and action. After the Dharma session, the lay Buddhists participated in a year-end examination, reviewing the teaching, learned and reflecting on their cultivation, thereby laying the foundation for continued diligent and practical application of the Dharma.
Trúc Lâm Bạc Liêu Zen Monastery solemnly commemorates the 717th anniversary of the Nirvana of King Mun Trần Nhân Tông. The ceremony honored his legacy as a compassionate ruler and enlightened Zen master, founder of the Trúc Lâm Zen tradition, inspiring Buddhists to follow the path of wisdom and engage practice.
On the morning of December 20, 2025, at Trúc Lâm Bạc Liêu Zen Monastery, Hiệp Thanh Word, Most Venerable Dharma Khả Kiến, the abbot solemnly organized the commemoration of the 717th anniversary of the Nirvana of the King Mun Trần Nhân Tông. The ceremony was attended by senior monastics, abbots of local monasteries, and a large number of lay Buddhists who returned to offer incense and remembrance. In an atmosphere of reverence, the monastics and devotees respectfully paid homage to the patriarch and the Triple Gem, chanted the six faculty responses, and offered incense, expressing deep gratitude. The assembly mindfully listened to the collection of the light and great contributions of the enlightened King Monk, a wise ruler who renounced the throne to work the path of awakening. King Mun Trần Nhân Tông, with personal name Trần Khâm, was born on November 11, 1258, the eldest son of King Trần Thánh Tông and Empress Nguyên Thánh Thiên Cảm. Ascending the throne in the 1278, he governed the country with wisdom and compassion. In 1299, he entered monastic life on Yên Tử Mountain, Uông Bí, Quảng Ninh, practicing asceticism under the title Hương Vân Đại Đầu Đà, unifying the three major Zen traditions and founding the Trúc Lâm Yên Tử Zen School with its distinctive engaged spirit of traveling in the world while delighting in the way and harmonizing with the dust of light. After years of the benefiting being through the Dharma, he passed away on November 1st, 1308 lunar calendar as Gõ Vân Yên Tử Mountain at the age of 51, leaving many relics. The commemoration deeply engraved in the hearts of Buddhists at November Istanbul, a spiritual teacher who devoted his entire life to Dharma and humanity. The assembly collectively vows to follow his path of compassion and wisdom, uphold the true Dharma, continue and promote the Trúc Lâm Zen tradition, diligently practice the Bodhisattva path, and spread the light of the Buddha teaching far and wide.
On December 21st, Long Phước Monastery organized the 280th A Day of Peace retreat combined with a basic Buddhist study class, a Dharma talk on dependent origination, the 12 links help practitioners understand impermanence, recognize the causes of suffering, and apply mindfulness in daily life.
On the morning of December 21st, 2025, in a solemn and tranquil atmosphere, Long Phước Monastery, Vĩnh Thạch World organized the 280th A Day of Peace retreat in conjunction with a basic Buddhist study class, welcoming a large number of lay Buddhists for practice. During the retreat, Most Venerable Nun Liên Viên delivered a Dharma talk on the topic Dependent Origination, the 12 Links, Application in the Practice. With a gentle, profound, and approachable teaching style, she helped the assembly clearly understand the doctrine of the dependent origination, a foundational teaching of the Buddha, and recognize the impermanence and condition-dependent nature of all phenomena. Through contemplation of dependent origination, devotees were guided to identify the causes of suffering, cultivate mindfulness, transform body and mind, and apply the teaching in daily life, gradually building a life of peace and awareness. In the retreat concluded in joy, sowing wholesome seeds, and contributing to enrichment of spiritual life and the illumination of each practitioner's path of cultivation.
On December 21st, the Revival Buddhist Charity Committee distributed 200 gift packages to disadvantaged people at Pháp Hermitage. Its gift included essential necessity and card support, demonstrating a Buddhist spirit of loving kindness, service, and social responsibilities.
On the morning of December 21st, 2025, Most Venerable Nun Ngộ Đạo, standing by as the Provincial Buddhist Charity Committee, in coordination with the Tâm An Hưng Charity Group, Ho Chi Minh City, led by Most Venerable Nun Toàn Liên, organized the distribution of the 200 gift packets to people with disability and disadvantaged households at Pháp Hermitage, Vĩnh Trạch World. Its gift package, valued as 600,000 Vietnam Đồng, include 10 kilo of rice, 1 carton of instant noodles, a mosquito net, daily necessity, and cards in envelope. The total budget for this charitable activity amount to 120 million Vietnam Đồng. At the event, Most Venerable Nun Toàn Liên said that caring for and supporting through these difficult circumstances is practical vows of the Buddhist disciple. She expressed her hope that this gift would bring warmth and renewed confidence, helping disciples overcome hardship and move toward a better life.
Mahasanghas, these are the Buddhist activities of Khmer Province in mid-December 2025. May the merits from the wholesome deeds bring peace, harmony, and well-being to all communities. Thank you for watching. May the Triple Gem always bless you and your family. We look forward to welcoming you again in our next program. Nam Mô Buddhaya.